Today, we need to talk about a story that is incredibly difficult, but also deeply important. It's the 2014 Cairns Child Killings. And really, it's an event that forces all of us to grapple with some tough questions about mental health, justice, and how a community can possibly heal.
Our story starts with just a number, 8. This number represents 8 young lives, 4 boys and 4 girls, all between the ages of 2 and 14, who were lost on a quiet street in suburban Australia. It's a number that hangs over everything we're about to discuss.
So, let's go back to that day. We're in the Cairns suburb of Monora. It's a Friday morning, December 19, 2014, just a few days before Christmas. Okay, so let's get grounded in the basic facts here. That morning, 8 children were found dead inside their home. They were all siblings or cousins. The cause of death? Stab wounds. And the person responsible was identified as Raina Thaiday, the mother of 7 of the children and the aunt of the 8th. You know, the true horror of what happened that day came to light when the children's older brother came home. He was just 20 years old. He showed up around 11 a.m. and walked into an unimaginable scene. According to the reports, when he found his mother, she said those 3 chilling words to him: "I've killed them." She was then hospitalized with what were described as self-inflicted stab wounds. Now, to even begin to understand how the legal system handled this, we have to look at the woman at the center of it all. And let's be really clear, this is not about making excuses. It's about understanding the context that was presented to the court. So this is Raina Thaiday. At the time, she was 37 years old, a Torres Strait Islander woman who had no criminal history whatsoever. As we said, she was mum to 7 of the children and aunt to the 8th. The picture that emerged was of a woman who was under an incredible amount of pressure. She was a single mom, dealing with financial stress, and, this is the crucial part, struggling with untreated mental health issues. In the weeks leading up to the tragedy, neighbors said she'd become intensely religious, talking a lot about Papa God, and had suddenly banned all alcohol and drugs from her house. And that brings us to what became the absolute core of this legal case: Raina Thaiday's mental state at the time of the killings. The Queensland Mental Health Court heard extensive evidence and came to a stunning conclusion. The diagnosis was that she was suffering from an extreme psychosis, and that this psychotic break was the result of a severe and completely undiagnosed case of schizophrenia. And misquote, this really gets to the heart of her delusion. A psychiatrist explained to the court that in her mind, she wasn't harming her children. She genuinely believed she was saving the children from the end of the world. So what exactly are we talking about when we say schizophrenia? Well, it's a serious mental disorder that fundamentally alters a person's perception of reality. It can lead to hallucinations, and as was the case here, these apocalyptic delusional states. This clinical diagnosis became the lens through which the entire event had to be re-examined. The court was incredibly direct about how severe her condition was. They called it schizophrenia at its very depth and its worst. They even made a point to mention the absolute terror she must have been feeling, even as she was committing these horrific acts. So, with a diagnosis like that, what does the justice system even do? This is where the case shifted away from a typical criminal trial and into the realm of mental health law. Okay, so let's walk through the legal timeline. Right after the killings in December 2014, she was of course charged with 8 counts of murder. But things changed. Fast forward to April 2017, and the mental health court makes its ruling. She was sent to a psychiatric facility, and as of 2024, a decade later, she is still detained under that mental health order. Now, that ruling all hinged on this legal term, unsound mind. So what does that actually mean? It means that, under the law, because her mental illness was so severe, she could not be held criminally responsible. She was so disconnected from reality that she couldn't understand what she was doing or that it was wrong. In our justice system, there has to be criminal intent. And in a case of psychosis this profound, the court says that intent simply isn't there. The focus has to shift from punishment to treatment and containment. So while the legal system wrestled with what to do with the perpetrator, the community had a different focus: how to remember the 8 children. As part of the healing process, a really significant step was taken. The house on Murray Street, the site of so much pain, was completely removed. It was this physical, constant reminder of the tragedy, and the community decided together that it needed to go. And in its place today, there's a living memorial.
8 beautiful frangipani trees have been planted on the site. It's a quiet, peaceful tribute now, one tree for each of the precious lives that were lost.
And that leaves us with this final, really difficult question, a question that sits at the painful intersection of crime, grief, and mental illness. It forces us to ask, when a tragedy like this happens, not because of evil or malice, but because of a devastating, untreated illness, what does justice even look like?